Amen, brothers. Let me get started while I got this extra 2 minutes and 31 seconds. It says, blessed through benevolence. Blessed through, who here by raising of hands knows what it means to be benevolent? Raise your hand. Who here knows what it means to be benevolent? Raise your hand. Well, let me tell you, keep your hands up. Let me tell you something. You don't know. You know why you don't know? Because I'm up here talking about it. If you knew, would I be up here talking about it? Then you don't know. No, what's wrong with y'all? Know what benevolence is, and I got to be up here talking about it. No, what's wrong with y'all? Proverbs 22:9. Man. A generous man will himself be blessed, for he shares his food with the poor. Being blessed for your benevolence should excite you. It should excite you to your core because you are being blessed. You are being superlatively happy as a result of your benevolence. You should be. When you're benevolent, you should be walking around like, hey, man. Hey, man, I'm blessed. Hey, bro. How you doing, man? Man, I'm happy. I'm blessed. Come on, man. Come on. If you're not walking around like that, are you being benevolent? As disciples, God has given us a golden opportunity to show him how much we love him and others through being benevolent. Benevolence is showing or being motivated by sympathy, understanding, generosity, being charitable, good-hearted, being open, kind, sympathetic, having and showing a tender and considerate and helpful nature towards those that are in need. So, you ask, what is an example of being a benevolent person? It's a person who sacrifices time to acts of kindness, like volunteering at an orphanage, volunteering at a homeless shelter, or a facility for the elderly, without looking for any type of compensation or acknowledgement. You know, we can be benevolent with our time. We can be benevolent with our money. Proverbs 19:17 says, whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his debt, for his deed. Can you imagine lending to, what do you have to lend to the Lord? What do you have? But he tells you, he says, when you are generous to the poor, you're lending to God. So what is God saying? He needs it. He needs that. And he's going to repay you for it. He's going to repay you for it. Does that fire you up? Does that motivate your heart to be benevolent, to be generous? If it doesn't, something's wrong. You're not connected to God. We need to be sacrificial in our giving. Well, what does that look like, being sacrificial in our giving? Well, it means that you're going to feel some discomfort when you give. You're going to feel some discomfort. And that's a good thing. It's like when we made the decision to come here to Johannesburg. Lorato had to give up her job at teaching at a school. Very a well-known school in Chicago. All the rich people went, a lot of rich people went there, celebrities and everything. She gave that up. Plus the income. Sacrificial. Leaving family and friends and everything to come here to Johannesburg. That's sacrificial giving. And the Lord blessed us through our, I wasn't looking for anything. I was just doing it because I know that was the right thing to do. I knew coming to Johannesburg was a need that was going to be filled. It was sacrificial.
Come on, bro.
It was benevolent. And we did it without batting an eye, and God blessed us. We came here with just some money and faith. And we got a nice place to live. Most of you all have been there. If you haven't, I'm sorry. We'll try to make it happen for you in the near future. He gave us a car. God is just amazing. We knew we needed a place to stay. We knew we needed a car, but God was so generous. He rewarded us. He blessed us. And we're so happy for it. A benevolent spirit constantly looks for ways not just to give, but to increase their giving, and doesn't look for anything in return. Are you looking for ways to increase your giving? Well, you can't do that if you're not even giving. You have to look for ways to increase your giving. I know one thing that we do, every year I get a pay raise, and I increase my contribution as a result of that. And we take 100 Rand, maybe 150 Rand, and I buy 5 Rand coins. And I give it to the guys that are the car guards in the parking lots. You know, because they're out there struggling. I know they are. It's a thankless job. I see people that they help them out and stop traffic for them, and they get nothing. I said, you know what? I want to give these guys something. So I give them 5, 10 Rand every time I'm in a parking lot. And when I move spaces to go to a further store in the parking lot, I know I got to do it again. But, you know, it makes me feel good because when I do that, I see the joy that they have as a result of giving. And that makes me feel good. That is the reward. That is the blessing, being happy because you're being benevolent. What is your heart saying to you when you see people or hear of people who are in need? Does the spirit of benevolence move you to action, or are you numb to it? When you see people in the street that are begging, do you just drive by, walk by, don't say anything? Do you even think about what they're going through? How you can help? Are you prepared to help them? Are you preparing? Are you setting money aside? The Bible has consequences for those who lack a benevolent spirit. Proverbs 28:22 says, a stingy man is eager to get rich and is unaware that poverty awaits him. Proverbs 28:27 says, he who gives to the poor will lack nothing, but he who closes his eyes to them receives many curses. Proverbs 11:24, one man gives freely, yet gains even more. Another man withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. Wow. Does that scare you? That's a reality. That's the spiritual reality of not being benevolent. A lack of benevolence, a lack of a benevolent heart is a lack of compassion, kindness, and love. We must be proactive in our benevolence, not just reactive. We see someone in need, we give. We see someone that's hurting, we give. But are we being proactive? Are we looking for ways to give? Are we just giving for the sake of giving? That's important. We got to be proactive. We got to see needs before they arise. Are you prepared for that? Are you stashing away a little bit of money just in case your brother is hungry and falls short? That's being proactive. There's not a need right now, but I'm preparing for that need. That's being proactive. The feeling you receive when you give sacrificially in your benevolence is pure joy. It is. You should feel that. If you don't, something's wrong. My challenge to you is to give every week to benevolence at midweek. Find ways to give your time to those less fortunate and in and outside the church, and experience the blessing that comes from having a benevolent spirit. To God be the glory.